With the threat of darkness once again looming over Eldoria, Lyra, Kai, Drake, and Mira worked tirelessly to unite their forces and prepare for the impending battle. The regions of Eldoria responded to the call to arms, sending their best warriors, mages, and guardians to fortify their defenses and train for the conflict ahead. In the Crystal Plains, Kai led the training of new recruits, his strategic mind and combat skills ensuring that the warriors were well prepared. Focus on your strength and speed, he instructed, demonstrating a series of rapid sword strikes. We need to be able to outmaneuver the enemy. Drake, meanwhile, was in the Shadow Mountains, working with the goblins and other mountain dwellers to build fortifications and set up traps. His knowledge of the terrain was invaluable, and he used it to create a network of defenses that would slow any advancing forces. Mira coordinated with the sirens and other sea creatures in the Misty Isles, enhancing their magical barriers and training them in combat. Use the power of the sea to your advantage, she said, her voice carrying over the waves. Together, we can create a formidable defense. Lyra and Alara focused on strengthening the magical wards and barriers around the Aurora Forest, using the power of the Sunstone and other artifacts to protect their homeland. We need to ensure that no dark forces can penetrate our defenses, Lyra said, her hands glowing with magical energy. Our magic is our strongest weapon. As the preparations continued, scouts and informants brought back more information about the new leader of the dark forces. The leader was a powerful sorceress named Morgoth, who had risen to power after the fall of the Shadow King. Her mastery of dark magic was unparalleled, and she had gathered a formidable army of dark creatures and loyal followers. One evening, as the group gathered to discuss their strategy, Lyra addressed her friends with a sense of urgency. Morgoth is our primary target. If we can defeat her, we can break the dark forces' morale and weaken their power. Kai nodded, his expression determined. We need to locate her and strike quickly. A targeted attack could disrupt their plans and give us the upper hand. Drake crossed his arms, deep in thought. We should gather more intelligence first. We need to know her strengths and weaknesses before we engage her directly. Myra's voice was soft but resolute. I can use my siren songs to gather information from the sea creatures. They have seen much and can help us find Morgoth's lair. With their plan set, the group divided their efforts. Mira used her siren songs to communicate with the sea creatures, who revealed that Morgoth's lair was hidden deep within the cursed marshlands, a treacherous and forbidding place filled with dark magic. Drake led a reconnaissance mission to the cursed marshlands, using his dragon form to scout from above. The marshlands were a desolate and dangerous place, filled with twisted trees and poisonous mists. Dark creatures lurked in the shadows, ready to attack any intruders. As Drake flew over the marshlands, he spotted a hidden cave entrance, guarded by dark creatures. He returned to the Aurora Forest with this crucial information. Morgoth's lair is hidden in a cave deep within the cursed marshlands, he reported. It's heavily guarded, but we can use this knowledge to plan our attack. The group gathered to finalize their strategy. We need to strike quickly and decisively, Lyra said. Our goal is to reach Morgoth and defeat her, breaking the dark force's power. Kai added, we'll need to create a diversion to draw the guards away from the entrance. Once inside, we'll need to be prepared for anything. Drake's eyes blazed with determination. I'll lead the diversionary force. My fire can create enough chaos to draw their attention. Mira nodded. I'll use my magic to create a protective barrier around us as we enter the cave. It will help shield us from Morgoth's dark magic. With their plan in place, the group set out for the cursed marshlands, their hearts filled with resolve. As they approached the marshlands, the air grew thick with tension, and the ground became increasingly treacherous. Drake led the diversionary force, his dragon fire lighting up the marshlands and drawing the dark creatures away from the cave entrance. The rest of the group, protected by Myra's magic, made their way into the cave. Inside, the cave was a labyrinth of twisting passages and dark chambers. The air was filled with the oppressive energy of dark magic, and they could hear the distant sounds of Morgoth's incantations. As they navigated the cave, they encountered traps and dark creatures, each obstacle testing their skills and resolve. But they pressed on, their determination unwavering. Finally, they reached the heart of the cave, where Morgoth stood surrounded by dark energy. Her eyes glowed with malevolence as she turned to face them. You dare to challenge me? She hissed. You are fools to think you can defeat me. Lyra stepped forward, her eyes blazing with defiance. We will not let you bring darkness to Eldoria. Your reign of terror ends here. The battle that followed was intense and brutal. Morgatha's dark magic was powerful, but Lyra, Kai, Drake, and Mira fought with all their strength and skill. Myra's protective barrier shielded them from Morgatha's attacks, while Drake's fire and Kai's sword strikes kept her on the defensive. Lyra focused her energy on the Sunstone, channeling its power to counter Morgatha's dark spells. The cave shook with the force of their battle, the air crackling with magical energy. Despite her power, Morgath began to falter under their relentless assault. With a final, powerful incantation, Lyra unleashed the full force of the Sunstone, engulfing Morgath in a blinding light. Morgath screamed in rage and pain as the light consumed her, her dark form disintegrating into nothingness. As the light faded, the cave grew silent. Breathing heavily, Lyra turned to her friends, a sense of relief washing over her. It's over. We've defeated her. Kai smiled, his eyes filled with pride. We did it. Together. Drake nodded, his expression serious but content. The darkness may rise again, but we will always be here to face it. Myra's voice was soft but resolute. Our unity is our greatest strength. As long as we stand together, Eldoria will always be safe. With Morgath defeated and the dark forces in disarray, the group returned to the Aurora Forest, where they were welcomed as heroes. The people of Eldoria celebrated their victory, their hearts filled with hope and gratitude. As they stood together, watching the celebrations, Lyra, Kai, Drake, and Mira knew that their journey was far from over. But they also knew that they were ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. The victory over Morgath and the dark forces brought a period of relative peace and prosperity to Eldoria. The regions continued to work together, strengthening their bonds and fortifying their defenses. However, Lyra, Kai, Drake, and Mira knew that they could not become complacent. The threat of darkness was always present, lurking in the shadows, waiting for an opportunity to strike. As the group gathered in the Aurora Forest, they took a moment to reflect on their journey and the lessons they had learned. The fire crackled softly, casting a warm glow on their faces. Lyra looked at her friends, her expression thoughtful. We've faced so many challenges together. Each one has made us stronger and more united. But we must continue to grow and adapt. The future is uncertain, and we need to be ready for anything. Kai nodded, his eyes focused. We need to continue training new guardians and improving our defenses. Our enemies will always seek new ways to challenge us, and we must stay one step ahead. Drake's voice was deep and resolute. We've learned that unity is our greatest strength. As long as we remain united, we can face any threat. But we must also remember to trust in each other and in our own abilities. Myra's voice was soft but filled with conviction. And we must never forget the power of hope. It's what has guided us through the darkest times and will continue to light our way. As they discussed their plans for the future, a messenger arrived with urgent news. The leaders of Eldoria had convened a council to discuss the next steps in ensuring the lasting peace and security of their land. Lyra, Kai, Drake, and Mira were summoned to provide their insights and guidance. The council hall was filled with representatives from all regions, each one eager to contribute to the future of Eldoria. King Elander presided over the meeting, his presence commanding respect and attention. Thank you all for coming, King Elander began, his voice strong and clear. We have achieved a great victory, but we must remain vigilant. We are here to discuss how we can ensure the lasting peace and security of Eldoria. Lyra stepped forward, her gaze steady. We need to continue training and preparing our guardians. They are our first line of defense, and their skills and knowledge are crucial to our safety. Kai added, we should also establish a network of scouts and informants. Early warning is essential to counter any threats before they can gain a foothold. Drake's deep voice echoed through the hall. We must strengthen our alliances and foster greater cooperation between the regions. Our unity has been our greatest strength, and it will continue to be so. Myra's melodic voice carried a message of hope. And we must never lose sight of the power of hope and resilience. Our people have shown incredible courage and determination. We must continue to inspire and support them. The council listened intently, nodding in agreement. Elara, the wise mage, stepped forward, her eyes filled with wisdom. We should also focus on enhancing our magical defenses. The artifacts and relics we possess are powerful, but we can always find ways to improve and adapt them. The discussion continued, with each representative contributing their ideas and insights. Plans were made to establish a permanent council of leaders, dedicated to the defense and prosperity of Eldoria. This council would oversee the training of guardians, the strengthening of defenses, and the fostering of unity and cooperation between the regions. As the meeting adjourned, Lyra, Kai, Drake, and Mira felt a renewed sense of purpose. They knew that their journey was far from over, but they were confident in their ability to protect Eldoria and ensure its future. That evening, as they sat around the campfire once more, Lyra looked at her friends, her heart filled with gratitude and hope. We've come so far together. No matter what the future holds, I know we can face it. As long as we stand together, we can overcome any challenge. Kai smiled, his eyes twinkling with warmth. We're a team, Lyra. And together, we can face anything. Drake nodded, his expression serious but content. The darkness may always be a threat, but we are stronger now. We are ready for whatever comes. Myra's voice was soft but resolute. Our bond is our greatest strength. As long as we remain united, Eldoria will always be safe. As the fire crackled and the stars shone brightly above, the four friends knew that their journey was far from over. But they also knew that they were ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. As peace settled over Eldoria, the group found themselves with a rare moment to breathe and reflect on their personal lives. The bonds they had forged in battle were strong, but there were also unspoken feelings and unresolved tensions among them that needed to be addressed. One evening, as they sat around the campfire, the conversation turned to more personal matters. Kai, usually focused and serious, seemed more introspective than usual. Lyra noticed and nudged him gently. "What's on your mind, Kai?" He sighed, looking into the fire. "We've been through so much together, and we've grown stronger as a team. But I can't help thinking about the future, about what comes next for each of us individually." Drake nodded, his expression thoughtful. "We've been so focused on protecting Eldoria that we haven't had much time to think about our own lives. It's important to take a step back and reflect." Mira, her voice soft and melodic, added, "We've become more than just comrades in arms. We've become a family. But families also need to support each other's dreams and desires." Lyra, feeling a mixture of emotions, spoke up. "I agree. We've been through so much, and I think it's time we talked about what we each want for our future. We need to ensure that we're not just fighting for Eldoria, but also for our own happiness." The conversation grew more intimate as they shared their thoughts and dreams. Lyra revealed her desire to explore the ancient magic of Eldoria further, to understand its depths and to ensure it could be used to protect the land. Kai, with a rare softness in his eyes, admitted his longing to reconnect with his family and to find a way to balance his responsibilities as a warrior with his personal life. Drake spoke of his deep connection to the mountains and his desire to help the goblins and other mountain dwellers thrive, to create a safe and prosperous community. Mira, her voice filled with emotion, shared her dream of bringing the beauty and magic of the Misty Owls to all of Eldoria, to ensure that the songs of the sirens could heal and inspire everyone. As they talked, they realized that their individual dreams did not conflict with their mission but rather complemented it. They could support each other in pursuing their personal goals while continuing to protect Eldoria. In the days that followed, they took time to pursue their individual passions. Lyra spent hours in the ancient library of the Aurora Forest, poring over ancient texts and practicing new spells. The more she learned, the more she felt connected to the land and its magic. Kai visited his family in the Crystal Plains, rekindling old bonds and finding solace in their support. His sister Kara helped him understand that he could be both a warrior and a loving brother. Drake worked tirelessly with the goblins in the Shadow Mountains, helping them rebuild and fortify their homes. His leadership and strength inspired them, and they began to see him not just as a protector but as a leader. Mira traveled between the Misty Isles and the other regions, sharing the siren songs and teaching others about the magic of the sea. Her efforts brought a sense of unity and healing to Eldoria, bridging the gaps between different cultures and regions. One evening, as they reunited around the campfire, the group felt a renewed sense of purpose. They had grown not just as warriors but as individuals, each bringing their unique strengths and dreams to their mission. Lyra looked at her friends, her heart full of pride and love. "We've come a long way, and we've grown so much. Our individual dreams make us stronger as a team. Together, we can protect Eldoria and build a future where everyone can pursue their passions." Kai smiled, his eyes shining with determination. "We are not just fighters. We are dreamers, leaders, and healers. Our bond is our greatest strength, and it will carry us through any challenge." Drake's deep voice resonated with conviction. "We are a family, and families support each other. Our unity is unbreakable." Myra's voice was soft but filled with hope. "Our songs, our dreams, our magic, they are all part of what makes Eldoria strong. Together, we will ensure that the light always shines bright." As the fire crackled and the stars illuminated the night sky, Lyra, Kai, Drake, and Mira knew that they were ready for whatever the future held. Their hearts were full, their spirits unbreakable, and their bond stronger than ever. With their dreams aligned and their purpose clear, they looked towards the horizon, ready to face any darkness and to build a future filled with hope, unity, and love. As the days turned into weeks, the peace and prosperity of Eldoria continued to flourish. The Guardians trained diligently, the regions worked in harmony, and the bond between Lyra, Kai, Drake, and Mira grew ever stronger. However, the tranquility was soon disrupted by troubling reports from the scouts and informants. One evening, as the group gathered around their usual campfire, a scout arrived with urgent news. His face was pale, and his voice trembled as he spoke. "Dark creatures have been spotted near the borders again. This time, they are more organized and powerful. We believe there is a new leader rallying them." Lyra's eyes narrowed with concern. "We need to investigate this immediately. We cannot allow the darkness to regain its foothold." Kai stood, his hand resting on the hilt of his sword. "We should gather our forces and prepare for a potential attack. We can't afford to be caught off guard." Drake nodded, his expression serious. "I'll lead a reconnaissance mission to gather more information about this new leader. We need to know what we're up against." Myra's voice was soft but determined. "I'll coordinate with the Sirens to monitor the seas. We need to ensure that our defenses are strong and ready." With their plan set, the group quickly mobilized. Drake, in his dragon form, soared into the sky with a team of elite scouts, flying towards the northern borders where the dark creatures had been sighted. Lyra, Kai, and Mira stayed behind to fortify their defenses and rally the Guardians. As Drake approached the northern borders, he could see the dark creatures moving with purpose and coordination. They were led by a formidable figure cloaked in shadows, exuding an aura of dark magic. The sight sent a chill down Drake's spine. He landed quietly, his scouts fanning out to gather more information. From the shadows, they observed the new leader, a sorcerer named Malakar, who wielded dark magic with terrifying skill. His presence was a clear threat, and his ambition to conquer Eldoria was evident. Returning to the Aurora Forest, Drake reported his findings. "Malakar is powerful, and he has gathered a significant force. We need to act quickly and decisively." Lyra's expression was grim. "We need to confront him before his power grows any stronger. If we allow him to consolidate his forces, it will be much harder to defeat him." Kai added, "We should strike at dawn, when their defenses are weakest. A surprise attack could give us the advantage we need." Mira nodded, her eyes filled with resolve. "I'll use my magic to create a protective barrier for our forces. It will shield us from Malakar's dark spells." With their strategy in place, they gathered their allies and prepared for the battle ahead. The Guardians, warriors, and mages stood ready, their hearts filled with determination. As dawn broke, Lyra, Kai, Drake, and Mira led their forces towards the northern borders. The air was thick with tension, but their unity and resolve gave them strength. They approached the dark creatures' camp, their movements swift and silent. The battle began with a fierce clash. Lyra's arrows flew true, each one finding its mark. Kai's sword flashed in the early light, cutting through the enemy ranks with precision. Drake's dragon fire created a blazing barrier, pushing back the dark creatures, while Myra's protective barrier shielded their forces from Malakar's dark magic. Malakar, sensing the tide turning against him, unleashed a torrent of dark spells. The ground shook, and the air crackled with malevolent energy. But Lyra, channeling the power of the Sunstone, countered his magic with a blinding light that disrupted his spells. Kai and Drake charged towards Malakar, their movements perfectly synchronized. Kai's sword clashed with Malakar's dark blade, while Drake's fiery breath forced the sorcerer to defend on multiple fronts. Mira, using her siren magic, amplified their attacks, creating a harmonious blend of strength and magic. Despite his power, Malakar began to falter under their relentless assault. With a final, coordinated effort, Lyra, Kai, Drake, and Mira unleashed their combined strength. Lyra's arrow, infused with the power of the Sunstone, struck Malakar's dark heart, shattering his defenses. Malakar screamed in rage and pain as the light consumed him, his dark form disintegrating into nothingness. The dark creatures, now leaderless, fled in disarray, their morale broken. As the battlefield grew silent, the group stood together, their hearts filled with relief and triumph. They had once again protected Eldoria from the forces of darkness. Lyra turned to her friends, her voice filled with gratitude. "We did it! Together, we have defeated another threat to our homeland." Kai smiled, his eyes shining with pride. "Our unity and strength saw us through. We are stronger together." Drake nodded, his expression serious but content. "The darkness will always be a threat, but we are ready to face it." Myra's voice was soft but resolute. "Our bond is our greatest strength. As long as we stand together, Eldoria will always be safe." With Malakar defeated and peace restored, the group returned to the Aurora Forest, where they were welcomed as heroes. The people of Eldoria celebrated their victory, their hearts filled with hope and gratitude.